The cabin door didn't just break, it shattered like ice, splinters erupting across the frozen floor in a spray of wood and frost. Anna lunged for Giovanni, dragging her 5-year-old son behind her body as the blizzard wind howled through the gaping hole where their door had been. The scent hit her before her eyes could adjust. Wet fur, iron, and something ancient that made her wolf sense scream danger. The boy. Where is the boy? The voice cut through the wind like a blade. Anna's heart hammered as figures poured through the doorway. Not men, but wolves wearing human skin. 5 of them, broad and scarred, their eyes gleaming violet in the firelight. Rogues, iron claw pack. Giovanni. Anna's whisper was urgent against her son's ear, her fingers already pushing him toward the back wall. The crawl space behind the woodpile. Go now and don't come out, no matter what you hear. Mama! Go! She shoved him just as calloused hands clamped around her throat and hauled her backward. Anna twisted, teeth bared, buying Giovanni those precious seconds to vanish into the shadows. Her nails raked across flesh. Someone cursed. Where's the pup? The leader stepped through the ruined threshold, and Anna's blood turned to slush. He was massive, his shoulders nearly filling the doorframe, his face marked with ritual scars that glowed faintly in the dim light. His eyes, pale gold, flat and merciless, locked onto her like a predator sighting prey. I don't know what you want. Anna forced the words through her constricted throat, even as iron fingers tightened, cutting off her air. The scarred leader smiled. It was the kind of smile that promised pain. Vex doesn't repeat himself. He jerked his chin. The first blow caught her across the temple, snapping her head sideways. Stars exploded behind her eyes. The second drove into her ribs, and she heard something crack, felt it splinter inside her chest. She would have crumpled if the hands gripping her hadn't kept her upright like a doll. The boy, Vex repeated, circling her slowly, his boots crunching over broken wood. We know what he carries. That spark inside him, it's wasted on a half-breed whelp raised by a nobody Omega. That power belongs to wolves who can use it. He's just a child. Anna choked on blood, her vision swimming. He doesn't have anything. Vex's laugh was low, mocking. Is that what you tell yourself? Poor little Omega. You really don't know what you're hiding, do you? That boy is the primal spark incarnate. The soul of the first wolf, and we're taking him whether you breathe or not. Another fist, this one to her stomach. Anna screamed before she could stop herself, the sound raw and animal. Hidden behind the woodpile, wedged into the narrow crawl space between the wall and the stacked logs, Giovanni pressed both small hands over his mouth to muffle his sobs. Through the gaps in the wood, he could see fragments. His mother on her knees, blood staining her torn shirt, the rogues circling her like a pack around a dying elk. Something was building inside him, something hot and wild and wrong. His fingertips burned. His vision sharpened until he could see every detail of his mother's face, the way her eyes kept darting toward his hiding place, even as another blow made her cry out. No. No. Mama. His hands were changing. He looked down and saw claws, tiny, sharp, trembling, pushing through his fingertips. The heat spread up his arms, into his chest, a pressure building like a scream he couldn't release. Last chance, Vex snarled, grabbing Anna's hair and wrenching her head back. Tell me where the boy is, or I start taking pieces. Never. The word was barely a whisper, but it echoed like a roar in Giovanni's ears, and something inside him snapped. Giovanni didn't remember bursting from his hiding place. He didn't remember the violet glow that erupted from his skin, or the way his partial shift made the rogues stumble back in shock. He only remembered his mother's scream, the smell of her blood, and then the blizzard. He ran, small legs pumping through knee-deep snow, the wind tearing at his too-thin clothes, his breath coming in ragged sobs. Behind him he heard shouting, pursuit, but the storm swallowed everything, turning the world into a wall of white. "Mama, Mama. They're hurting, Mama." He didn't know how long he ran. Minutes? Hours? His legs gave out, and he collapsed face-first into a snowdrift, his violet-glowing hands fading back to normal as unconsciousness pulled at him. That's when he saw it. A figure. Massive. Unmoving. Standing in the blizzard like the storm itself bent around him. The man, no, the Alpha, wore a cloak of black fur so dark it seemed to drink the light. His eyes, when they turned toward Giovanni, were silver-white, ancient and cold as the northern ice. Giovanni's small, blood-stained fingers reached out on instinct, grabbing a fistful of that heavy black fur. "They're hurting my mum," he sobbed, his voice breaking. Please, they're hurting my mum." For one frozen heartbeat, the Alpha King, Tom Riley, the legend who had forgotten how to be human, stared down at the crying pup clinging to his cloak. Then something shifted behind those silver eyes, something violent, something protective, something uncontrollable. The temperature dropped 10 degrees, and the Alpha King lost control. Before we continue with this amazing story, please tell us your name and where you are watching from. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more of these stories to you. Chapter 1. Anna knew they were coming 30 seconds before the door exploded. The wind changed direction, carrying that scent, wet fur and old blood. She grabbed Giovanni from his bed, her wolf instincts screaming danger. Then the cabin door shattered. 5 rogues poured through like a plague, their eyes violet in the firelight, their claws already extended. The leader, Vex, with his ritual scars glowing, smiled at her like she was already dead. The boy. Now. Anna shoved Giovanni toward the back wall. Crawl space. Go! She spun, throwing herself at the nearest rogue, her nails raking flesh, buying seconds. The rogue backhanded her across the room. She hit the wall hard, stars exploding behind her eyes. "Mama!" Giovanni's scream tore through the chaos. "Hide!" Anna lunged again, teeth bared, purely feral. She bit down on a rogue's arm, tasting copper. He howled. She didn't let go until another set of hands dragged her off by her hair. Vex crossed the room in 2 strides, his claws wrapping around her throat. Brave little Omega, but stupid. He lifted her off the ground, her feet kicking uselessly. "That pup carries the primal spark, the soul of the first wolf. He's worth more than your entire bloodline. He's just a child," Anna choked out. Vex slammed her against the wall. Something cracked in her spine. "He's a weapon, and you're in my way." The first real blow came then, his fist driving into her ribs. She heard them break, felt the sharp pierce of bone. Blood filled her mouth when she screamed. That's when Giovanni snapped. The boy erupted from the crawl space, his small body blazing violet light, partial claws extending from fingers too small to hold them. He threw himself at Vex with a child's rage and a wolf's fury, his teeth sinking into the rogue leader's arm. Vex roared, flinging Giovanni across the room. The boy hit the floor and rolled, but he was already on his feet, positioning himself between his mother and the rogues. "Run!" Anna gasped, blood dripping from her lips. "Giovanni, run! I won't leave you! Run!" She threw herself at Vex again, sacrificing everything for one more second. Her son hesitated, those brown eyes wide with terror. Then survival kicked in. He bolted through the shattered door into the screaming blizzard. After him! Vex kicked Anna aside like trash. 2 rogues charged into the storm. Anna crawled toward the door, leaving a blood trail on the frozen floor. She had to follow, had to protect. Vex's boot came down on her back, pinning her. Not so fast, Omega. He leaned close, his breath hot against her ear. Let's see how long your precious pup survives out there. The cold will do my work for me. He hauled her up by her hair, dragging her toward the fireplace where his remaining rogues waited with iron chains. And while we wait, Vex continued, wrapping the chains around her wrists, you're going to tell me everything about that spark, starting with why he glows violet instead of gold. Anna spat blood in his face. Go to hell. Vex wiped his cheek slowly, his smile widening. Wrong answer. The torture began. Giovanni couldn't breathe. The blizzard tore at him, snow blinding him, wind cutting through his thin clothes like knives. His bare feet were numb. He couldn't feel his hands. Behind him, howls. The rogues were hunting. He ran anyway, his mother's screams echoing in his head. His legs buckled. He face-planted into a snowdrift, the violet glow fading from his skin as exhaustion pulled him under. This was it. He was going to die out here. And those monsters would go back and finish hurting Mama. No. No, please. Someone. Through the white wall of snow, a shadow emerged. Massive, unmoving, wrapped in a black fur cloak that seemed to drink the storm itself. Silver eyes found him. Ancient, cold, utterly merciless. Giovanni's trembling fingers reached out on pure instinct, grabbing a fistful of that midnight fur. They're hurting my mum, he sobbed, his small voice breaking. Please, sir, they're hurting my mum. The Alpha King stared down at the crying pup clinging to his cloak. For one frozen heartbeat, nothing moved. Then something shifted in those silver eyes. Something primal. The air itself seemed to crack. Behind Giovanni, the 2 pursuing rogues burst through the storm and stopped dead, because the Alpha King's eyes had turned completely white. Because the growl building in Tom Riley's chest made the ground tremble. Because the most powerful wolf in the Northern Territories had just been asked for help by a bleeding child. And Tom Riley never refused a child. The rogues turned to run. They didn't make it 3 steps. Chapter 2. Tom Riley moved like death itself. The first rogue died before he could scream, Tom's claws punching through his spine, silencing him instantly. The second tried to shift, tried to fight. Tom ripped his throat out with his bare hands, his silver eyes burning white-hot with a rage he hadn't felt in decades. Behind him, Giovanni watched, clutching that black cloak, too shocked to look away. Tom dropped the bodies and turned. The pup was shaking, blood-stained, hypothermic. Where? His voice was granite and winter. Where is she? Giovanni's trembling finger pointed south. The cabin. They chained her. They were... His small voice broke. Hurting her. Something snapped inside Tom Riley's chest. Something that had been dormant for a century. He scooped Giovanni up in one arm, wrapping the boy in his cloak, and ran. Not human speed. Not even normal wolf speed. He moved like the storm itself, his boots barely touching the snow, his rage propelling him forward with supernatural force. The cabin came into view, smoke rising, door shattered. Tom set Giovanni down behind a tree. Stay here. It wasn't a request. He approached the cabin like a predator, silent despite his size. Through the broken doorway, he saw her. Anna. Chained to the support beam, her face swollen and blooded, her shirt torn, exposing lash marks across her ribs. 3 rogues stood around her, one holding a heated iron rod, the smell of burned flesh thick in the air. Vex circled her slowly. Last time, Omega. Where did the boy's power come from? Anna lifted her head, defiant even through the pain. Hell! Vex raised the iron rod. Tom Riley stepped through the doorway. The temperature plummeted 20 degrees in an instant. Frost spread across the walls. The fire flickered and died. Vex turned, and his face went pale. Alpha King! Tom's eyes were no longer white. They were void, empty of everything except one singular purpose: destruction. You touched the child's mother. Tom's voice was barely recognizable, more growl than words. His body began to shift, muscles expanding, claws extending to twice their normal length. This wasn't a normal shift. This was something older, darker. You made him cry. Vex stumbled backward. We didn't know. We were just following orders. Tom's hand shot out, faster than sight, and closed around Vex's throat. He lifted the rogue leader off the ground with one hand, his claws puncturing flesh. Who gave the orders? Vex choked, blood bubbling from his lips. The council. They want the spark. They want to... Tom's grip tightened. Vex's words cut off with a wet gurgle. Wrong answer. What happened next wasn't a fight. It was a massacre. Tom Riley, the Alpha King who had forgotten how to be human, remembered exactly how to be a monster. The three rogues tried to run, tried to fight, tried to beg. None of it mattered. Tom tore through them like paper, his movements too fast to track, his rage too complete to reason with. Blood painted the walls, screams cut short, bones cracking. When the last body hit the floor, Tom stood in the center of the carnage, his chest heaving, his claws dripping red. His eyes were still void black, his shift incomplete, stuck between man and beast, consumed by the berserker rage his advisors had warned him about. Then his gaze landed on Anna. She hung from the chains, barely conscious, her blood pooling beneath her. Their eyes met. And for the first time in 100 years, Tom Riley felt fear. Not of enemies, not of war. Fear that he was too late, that the woman whose child had grabbed his cloak, the woman who had taken a beating to save her son, would die before he could. Anna's eyes rolled back. Her body went limp. No. Tom lunged forward, ripping the chains from the wall with his bare hands. He caught her as she fell, her body too light, too broken, her heartbeat too faint. Outside, Giovanni's small voice called out, "Mama." Tom looked down at the dying woman in his arms, then at the doorway where her son waited. His berserker rage was still burning, his control was slipping, and the woman in his arms was human, fragile, mortal, dying. If he lost control completely while holding her, he'd kill her himself. But if he let go, she'd bleed out in seconds. Tom Riley, the Alpha King who bowed to no one, had exactly one choice, and it terrified him. Chapter 3. Anna woke in silk sheets, which was her first clue something was very wrong. The second clue was the massive stone room, the fireplace big enough to stand in, and the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking mountains that touched the clouds. She tried to sit up, and gasped as pain exploded through her ribs. "Don't move!" The voice came from the shadows, deep, commanding. Tom Riley stepped into the firelight, and Anna's breath caught. He was even more terrifying up close, 6'5" of pure muscle, silver scars crossing his bare arms, those silver eyes fixed on her with unsettling intensity. "Where's Giovanni?" Her voice cracked. "Sleeping. Next room." Tom moved closer, carrying a tray of medical supplies. "You've been unconscious for 2 days, 3 broken ribs, lacerations, burns." His jaw tightened. "You're lucky to be alive." "Lucky," Anna repeated bitterly. Then she saw his hands, bandaged, shaking slightly. "What happened to you?" Tom set the tray down hard. I lost control after I killed them. His eyes met hers, and she saw something raw there. Something dangerous. My berserker rage. It doesn't stop when the enemy's dead. It doesn't stop until... He cut himself off. Until what? Until I destroy everything. He turned away. I almost killed you, trying to get you here. Had to chain myself in the dungeon for 6 hours until I could shift back. Anna stared at his broad back, at the tension coiled in every muscle. But you didn't. You saved me. This time. Tom's voice went cold. Next time, I might not be able to stop. He moved to leave, but Anna's voice stopped him. Thank you for saving my son. Tom froze in the doorway. Slowly he turned. He grabbed my cloak, started crying. Something shifted in his expression. No one's done that in a very long time. Their eyes locked, the air between them charged with something neither could name. Your Majesty? A sharp femoral voice shattered the moment. A woman entered, tall, beautiful, her auburn hair braided with gold. She looked at Anna with barely concealed disgust. The council is demanding to see you. They're asking questions about the Omega and her pup. Tom's expression went cold. Tell them I'm busy. They're insisting. The woman, clearly high-ranking, stepped closer to Tom, her hand landing possessively on his arm. They want to know why you brought commoners into the royal wing, why you're personally tending to an Omega's wounds. Anna felt something twist in her chest. Of course, an Alpha King wouldn't... Tell them, Tom said quietly, his silver eyes never leaving Anna's face, that the council doesn't give me orders. The woman's face flushed. Tom, be reasonable. Out. She left, but her parting glare at Anna promised trouble. Tom approached the bed, his movements careful, controlled. He lifted the medical supplies. Your burns need treatment. I can do it myself. You can barely move. He sat on the edge of the bed, close enough that Anna could feel his body heat. His fingers brushed her shoulder, peeling back the bandage. His touch was surprisingly gentle for hands that had ripped men apart hours ago. Anna's breath hitched. Not from pain. Tom's eyes flicked to hers. For a moment, neither moved. The tension between them was suffocating. Why? Anna whispered. Why risk your control for us? Tom's jaw worked. When he finally spoke, his voice was rough. Because when your son grabbed my cloak and begged me to save you, I felt something I haven't felt in a century. His silver eyes burned into hers. I felt human again. Anna's heart hammered. And now? Tom's hand moved from her shoulder to her cheek, his thumb brushing her split lip with devastating gentleness. Now I'm terrified, he admitted, because being near you makes the rage quiet, and I don't know why. The moment stretched, fragile and electric. Then the door exploded open. Giovanni stood there, his small body glowing violet, his eyes wild with panic. Mama, something's wrong. I can't make it stop. Tom was on his feet instantly. What can't you... The boy's glow intensified, light pouring from his skin like a star going nova. He screamed, clutching his chest. The spark, Tom breathed, his face going pale. It's awakening. Anna tried to get up, her maternal instinct overriding her pain. Giovanni! But Tom caught her arm, his grip iron. His expression was pure dread. If it fully awakens now, without control, the power will consume him from the inside out. Giovanni collapsed to his knees, his small hands clawing at his chest, his screams echoing through the stone fortress. How do we stop it? Anna begged. Tom's silver eyes met hers, and the answer she saw there made her blood run cold. We can't. Chapter 4. Tom managed to stabilize Giovanni. Barely. He pressed his palm to the boy's chest, channeling his own alpha energy to contain the spark, forcing it back down. Giovanni's glow faded, and he collapsed into Anna's arms, unconscious but breathing. "That won't last," Tom said grimly, his hand still shaking from the power he'd felt. "The spark is trying to surface. If it happens again, then we teach him control." Anna cut in, her voice fierce despite her injuries. "He's not dying. I won't let him." Tom stared at her, this Omega who had nothing. No pack, no power, no training. Staring down an Alpha King with pure maternal fury. Something in his chest tightened. 3 days, he said. "I'll train him myself. But Anna..." His voice dropped. "If the council finds out what he is, they'll take him. The primal spark is supposed to be a myth. If they know it's real, if they know your son is the reincarnation of the first wolf, then we don't let them find out." Tom nodded slowly. 3 days. It took 2. Giovanni was unnatural. Too natural. Tom watched the boy in the private training yard, practicing basic shifts, and felt unease crawl up his spine. 5-year-olds didn't shift this cleanly, didn't move with this kind of instinctive grace. "Again," Tom commanded. "Claws only. Not full shift." Giovanni nodded, his small face scrunched in concentration. His fingertips sprouted claws, perfect, controlled, then retracted. He grinned up at Tom, proud. "Good." Tom allowed himself a rare smile. "Now." "Well, well." A cold voice cut through the yard. "The Alpha King playing nursemaid." Tom's smile vanished. He turned to see 3 council members entering the training yard: Elder Marok, Lady Seraphine, and Commander Kane. The auburn-haired woman from before stood behind them, her expression smug. "This is a private session," Tom said, his voice deadly calm. "And this," Elder Marok gestured to Giovanni, "is our business. You bring an unknown Omega and her pup into the royal wing. You personally oversee his training. You refuse to answer the council's summons." His eyes narrowed. "What are you hiding, Alpha King?" "I'm hiding nothing. The boy needed protection." "From what?" Commander Kane stepped forward, his hand on his sword. "From rogues who specifically targeted him. Rogues who mentioned a power inside him." Tom's jaw clenched. They knew. Someone had talked. "Show us," Lady Seraphine commanded, her gaze fixed on Giovanni. "Show us what makes this pup so special." "No." Tom moved between them and Giovanni. "He's under my protection." "He's under council jurisdiction," Marok snapped. "All supernatural anomalies are. If this child possesses power beyond..." I said no. The temperature dropped. Tom's eyes flickered white. His alpha presence crashed over the yard like a physical weight, forcing the council members back a step. But Giovanni, sweet, innocent Giovanni, stepped around Tom, wanting to help, wanting to show he wasn't dangerous. "It's okay," the boy said. "I can show them. I'm really good now. Watch." "Giovanni, don't!" Too late. The boy shifted. Not just claws, not just eyes. He shifted completely into a wolf pup that glowed violet like a star, his fur shimmering with ancient power, his eyes carrying the weight of something far older than 5 years. The training yard went silent. Then Giovanni's glow intensified, tripled. The spark was reacting to the shift, to the stress, to the audience. Symbols appeared in the air around him, ancient wolf runes that predated written language. "Impossible," Marok breathed, his face pale. "The primal spark, the first wolf's soul." "It's real," Seraphine whispered, her eyes wide with hunger. "It's actually real." Commander Kane drew his sword. "Seize the child, by order of the council." Tom moved like lightning. putting himself between the soldiers and Giovanni. "Over my dead body." "That can be arranged," Caney said coldly. "Even you can't fight the entire council guard, Alpha King." 50 soldiers poured into the training yard, surrounding them, weapons drawn. Tom's eyes went white. His berserker rage surged. He could kill them all, but not before they hurt Giovanni. Not before— "Stop!" Anna's voice rang out. She stood in the doorway, still bandaged, still broken, but moving with a power that made everyone freeze. She walked into the circle, her step steady despite her injuries, and placed herself beside Tom, between him and the council. "You want the boy?" Anna's voice was cold. "You'll have to go through both of us." Marok laughed. "An Omega and a king losing control. This will be—" Anna's skin began to glow. Not violet like Giovanni's. Silver, like moonlight made solid. The runes around Giovanni shifted, responding to her, orbiting her instead. Tom's berserker rage, which had been building to explosion, suddenly calmed. Not suppressed, not contained, calmed, like a storm recognizing its master. Lady Seraphine's face went white. "No, that's not possible." "What is she?" Caney demanded. Tom stared at Anna, realization crashing over him like a wave. "A lunar conduit," he breathed. "You're a lunar conduit." Anna met his eyes, and he saw the truth there. She'd known. She'd always known. "I'm the only reason," Anna said quietly, her silver glow intensifying, "that the Alpha King hasn't torn this fortress apart. I'm the only reason his berserker rage hasn't consumed him." She turned to the council, her expression fierce. "And if you touch my son, I'll stop protecting him." It wasn't a threat, it was a promise. The council members exchanged glances. They knew what that meant. An Alpha King without a conduit was a weapon with no off switch. He'd destroy them all. But Marek smiled, a slow, calculating smile that made Tom's blood run cold. "Then it's decided," the elder said smoothly. "The boy stays, but so do you, Conduit." His eyes glittered with malice. "Both of you are now wards of the council, for the Alpha King's protection, of course." "You can't," Tom started. "We can, we just did." Marok gestured to the guards. "Escort them to the North Tower. Comfortable quarters, but guarded." "You're making them prisoners," Tom growled, his rage building again. "We're protecting the realm," Seraphine corrected. "From you." Anna's hand found Tom's, her silver glow pulsing, keeping his rage in check, but her eyes were terrified, because they both knew the truth. The council didn't want to protect anyone. They wanted to control the primal spark, and they'd just figured out how to control the Alpha King. Chapter 5. The North Tower wasn't a prison, but it might as well have been. Guards at every exit, spelled locks on the windows. Anna paced the stone room like a caged wolf, while Giovanni slept fitfully on the bed, his small body still glowing faintly violet. Tom stood by the window, his hands gripping the sill hard enough to crack stone. He hadn't spoken in an hour, hadn't looked at her. "You lied to me." His voice was quiet, dangerous. Anna stopped pacing. "I protected us." "A lunar conduit." Tom turned, his silver eyes blazing. "Do you have any idea what you are?" "What you mean?" "I know exactly what I am." Anna's voice was steady despite her racing heart. "I'm the reason you're not a mindless killing machine right now." Tom crossed the room in 2 strides, his presence overwhelming. "How long have you known?" "Since the moment you touched me to heal my burns." Anna met his gaze. "I felt your rage, felt how close you were to losing yourself completely. And I felt it respond to me. Calm. That's impossible. Lunar conduits are myths. The last one died 300 years ago." Anna's laugh was bitter. The last one disappeared 300 years ago. There's a difference. Tom went very still. What are you saying? Anna's hands trembled as she reached up and touched her own throat. Her fingers found an invisible thread, a spell so old it had become part of her. She pulled. The air shimmered. Her brown eyes flickered silver. Her plain features shifted subtly, becoming sharper, more ethereal. Power rolled off her in waves. I'm not just a conduit, Anna whispered. I'm the last oracle of the moon, the only being destined to survive a soul bond with an Alpha King. Tom staggered back. The oracle, you're... His face went pale. Then Giovanni isn't my biological son. The words hurt, but Anna forced them out. He's yours. Tom's world tilted. What? Not your son, Anna clarified quickly. Your brother. Reincarnated. She moved to the sleeping boy, her hand gentle on his hair. 300 years ago, your younger brother died in battle. His soul was supposed to rest. But the moon goddess had other plans. She placed his soul and the primal spark inside an infant. I was the temple guardian. When your council discovered what he was, they wanted to weaponize him, use the spark to control you. So you ran. Tom's voice was hollow. I placed a veil on myself, became human, raised him as my own. Anna's eyes glistened. I've been hiding for 5 years, Tom, moving every few months, but the spark is waking up, and the veil can't hold anymore. That's why the rogues found us. That's why you're here. Tom's fists clenched. The council knew. They've known all along. A knock on the door. Elder Marek entered without waiting for permission, his smile cold. Apologies for the interruption, but the Alpha King is needed in the council chamber. I'm not leaving them. Then bring the conduit. We need to discuss arrangements. Anna's blood ran cold. What arrangements? Marek's smile widened. Your bond, of course. The Alpha King's berserker rage is growing unstable. We've tracked the episodes, 4 in the last month alone. Without a permanent conduit bond, he'll go fully berserk within a week. Tom's jaw clenched. I'm fine. You're dying. Marek's voice was blunt. Your soul can't contain the beast anymore. You need her. His eyes slid to Anna. And she needs council approval to bond with the Alpha King. What's your price? Anna demanded. The boy. Marek said it casually, like he was discussing the weather. The primal spark stays with the council. We'll train him, mold him into the weapon he was meant to be. And in exchange, you get to bond with the king. Save his life. Everyone wins. No. Anna's voice was steel. Giovanni is not a weapon. Then the Alpha King dies. Marek shrugged. And when his berserker rage consumes him in his final moments, he'll slaughter everyone in this fortress, including you and the boy. He turned to leave. You have until tomorrow's moon to decide. Bond and surrender the child, or watch the king become a monster. The door closed. Silence filled the room. Tom was shaking. Anna could see it, the rage building, the beast clawing at his control. His eyes flickered white, then back to silver, then white again. Tom, get away from me. His voice was barely human. I can feel it. The beast, it's getting stronger. If I lose control here, in this room with you and Giovanni... Anna grabbed his face, forcing him to look at her. Her silver glow flared, and his rage stuttered, confused. You won't hurt us. You don't know that. I know you. Anna's voice was fierce. I know that when my son grabbed your cloak and begged for help, you didn't hesitate. I know you chained yourself in a dungeon for 6 hours to keep me safe. I know... Tom's hand covered hers, his touch desperate. I'm terrified, Anna. Not of dying, of killing you." His voice cracked. "Of becoming the monster they all think I am." "Then bond with me." The words were out before Anna could stop them. "Not for the council, for us. Let me be your anchor." Tom's eyes widened. "The bond is permanent, soul deep. You'd be tied to me for life. To this beast, I know what the bond means." Anna stepped closer, her body against his. "I've known since the moment I saw you in that blizzard that we were meant for this. The Oracle doesn't run from destiny, Tom. She embraces it." Tom's control was fracturing. She could see it in his eyes, feel it in the way his hands shook. "If we bond without the council's blessing, they'll consider it treason. They'll take Giovanni anyway. They'll—" A scream shattered the night. Both of them spun toward the bed. Giovanni was convulsing, his body arching off the mattress, violet light exploding from every pore. The primal spark was fully awakening, and it was tearing him apart. "No!" Anna lunged for him, but the power around him was too intense. It threw her back. Tom caught her. "The spark is rejecting his human vessel. It's too much power for a child's body to—" The door exploded open. Not guards, not the council. Commander Kane, with 20 armed soldiers. "By order of the council, the child is being seized immediately. His awakening threatens the structural integrity of the fortress." "You can't—" Anna started. Kane's men moved fast. Too fast. They had spelled nets, designed to contain supernatural power. They threw them over Giovanni's convulsing form. Tom's roar shook the tower. His eyes went pure white. The berserker rage erupted. But Kane was ready. He thrust a spelled blade forward, not at Tom, but at Anna. The blade pierced her shoulder. She screamed, and Tom's rage, sensing its conduit in danger, went supernova. The tower walls cracked. Stone began to crumble. Tom's body expanded, his shift incomplete, monstrous, all beast and no man. "Sleep!" Kane shouted, and 3 mages threw a containment spell at Tom. It wouldn't hold long, maybe 30 seconds. Kane turned to Anna, bleeding on the floor. "The boy comes with us. The bond happens under council terms, or the king destroys everything." He gestured to his men. They grabbed Giovanni's netted form. "No, please!" Anna reached out, her blood pooling beneath her. Giovanni's violet eyes met hers through the net. "Mama, I'll find you!" Anna screamed as they dragged him toward the door. "I swear I'll—" Behind her, Tom's containment spell shattered. His roar was inhuman. The beast was fully free, and Anna, bleeding and broken, was the only thing standing between Tom Riley's monster and the men taking her son. Kane smiled. "Choose, Oracle, the boy or the king. You can't save both." Chapter 6. Anna didn't choose. She refused. Her silver glow exploded outward, a wave of pure lunar power that slammed into Tom's beast mid-lunge. His monstrous form froze, suspended in the air, every muscle locked as her conduit energy wrapped around him like chains. "Sleep," Anna commanded, her voice resonating with ancient authority. "I've got this." Tom's white eyes flickered. Recognition, trust. Then his body crumpled, his shift reversing as unconsciousness took him. He hit the floor hard but breathing, human again. Anna turned to Kane, her shoulder still bleeding, her eyes burning silver. "You made a mistake." Kane laughed. "You can barely stand. What are you going to—" Anna's power detonated. The spelled blade in her shoulder shattered. The wound sealed itself in seconds, silver light knitting flesh and bone. She rose, and the temperature in the tower dropped to freezing. "I am the last oracle of the moon," Anna said, her voice echoing with the weight of centuries. "I have hidden my power to protect my son, but you just took him." She stepped forward, and Kane's soldiers stumbled backward. "I don't hide anymore." She moved like starlight, fluid, untouchable. Devastating. 3 soldiers went down before they could draw weapons. 4 more tried to contain her with spells. She shattered them with a gesture, but Caney was already at the door, Giovanni's netted form in his arms. The boy is already gone, Oracle. Lady Seraphine is halfway to Obsidian Peak by now. Anna's blood froze. What? Caney's smile was cruel. Did you think I was the betrayal? I'm just the distraction. He snapped his fingers. The floor beneath Anna exploded. She fell through the broken stone, her body slamming into the room below, stars bursting behind her eyes. By the time she crawled back up, Caney and the remaining soldiers were gone. And so was Giovanni. Tom stirred, groaning. Anna helped him sit, her hands shaking. They took him. Seraphine took him to Obsidian Peak. Tom's eyes snapped open, clarity returning. Seraphine. He spat the name like poison. My most trusted advisor. I should have known. Why the peak? Tom's face went ashen. It's where the ancient rituals happened, where the first wolves drew power from the earth itself. He grabbed Anna's arms. If they harvest the spark there, they can extract it from Giovanni's soul and implant it into another vessel. Who? Themselves. Tom's voice was hollow. The council wants the primal spark. They want to become gods. Anna's world tilted. Will it kill him? Tom's silence was answer enough. No. Anna was already moving, grabbing weapons from the wall. How long do we have? The ritual requires the winter solstice. Tonight? Tom checked the window. The moon was already rising. 3 hours. Maybe less. Then we leave now. Tom caught her wrist. Anna, Obsidian Peak is a fortress. Seraphine will have the entire council guard. Even with my rage and your conduit power, we can't— I don't care. Anna's eyes blazed. That's my son. I will burn the world down to get him back. Tom stared at her. This oracle who had hidden as an omega. This mother who had nothing but would sacrifice everything. Something shifted in his chest. Something permanent. Then we burn it together. The journey to Obsidian Peak was a nightmare sprint through a blizzard. Tom shifted fully, his massive wolf form cutting through the snow, Anna clinging to his back, her conduit power shielding them both from the cold. They were 2 miles out when they saw it. The peak rose from the mountains like a black fang, its obsidian surface reflecting the moonlight, and at its summit, a violet glow pulsed like a heartbeat. Giovanni, Anna breathed. Tom pushed harder, his paws tearing through snow and ice. They reached the base of the peak in minutes. The entrance was guarded, 50 soldiers in council armor. I'll handle them, Tom growled, his rage building. You get to Giovanni. Tom, you can't fight 50. I'm the Alpha King. His eyes went white. Watch me. He charged. What followed was carnage. Tom Riley, unchained and unhinged, tore through the guards like they were made of paper. His claws ripped armor. His jaws crushed weapons. His rage made him unstoppable. Anna ran past the chaos, her silver glow lighting the dark corridors of the peak. She could feel Giovanni, his terror, his pain, like a beacon pulling her forward. The ritual chamber was at the summit. She burst through the doors, and her heart stopped. Giovanni hung suspended in the air, violet light pouring from his small body into a massive obsidian stone below. Elder Marok stood at the base, chanting in the old tongue, his hands glowing with stolen power. Lady Seraphine circled the ritual, her eyes hungry. And Giovanni, her beautiful boy, was screaming. Stop! Anna's voice cracked the stone floor. Marok didn't even look up. Too late, Oracle. The extraction is 90% complete. In 30 seconds, the primal spark will be ours. And the boy will be dead. Seraphine smiled. A tragic loss, but necessary. Anna's power exploded. Silver light filled the chamber, slamming into the ritual circle. The energy wavered, but held. "Spelled wards," Marok said calmly. "Designed specifically to resist lunar power. You can't break them." Anna threw herself against the barrier, her fists pounding, her power surging. But he was right. The ward held. Giovanni's screams were weakening. His glow was fading. He was dying. "No, no, no!" Anna clawed at the barrier, her voice breaking. "Please, take me instead. Take my power. Just let him go." "We don't want you, Oracle." Marok's eyes glittered. "We want godhood." The extraction hit 95%. Giovanni's small body convulsed, his life force draining into the stone. Anna fell to her knees, her power useless, her son dying in front of her. Then the chamber doors exploded inward. Tom Riley stood in the entrance, covered in blood. None of it his. His eyes pure white, his berserker rage at full strength. 50 guards dead behind him. He saw Giovanni, saw Anna on her knees, and the beast roared. Tom charged the barrier, his claws extending to monstrous size. He hit the ward with the force of an avalanche. It didn't break. "Fool!" Marok laughed. "It would take the combined power of an Alpha King and a Lunar Oracle to—" He stopped. His face went pale, because Anna was standing, walking toward Tom, her silver glow pulsing in time with his white rage. "Tom," she said quietly, "I need you to trust me." Tom turned, his beast barely recognizing her through the haze of violence. "Anna, bond with me. Now, soul bond. No ritual, no permission, no counsel." Anna's voice was steady, despite her terror. "It's the only way to combine our power, the only way to save him." Tom's eyes cleared for just a second. "It will hurt. The bond without preparation. It could kill you." "I know." Anna grabbed his bloodied hand. "Do it anyway." Tom's hesitation lasted half a heartbeat. Then his claws pierced her palm, drawing blood. Her silver power pierced his chest. Anchoring into his soul, the bond snapped into place. Pain like nothing Anna had ever felt tore through her. She screamed. Tom roared. Their powers merged, silver and white twisting together, amplifying, multiplying. Marok's face went from confident to terrified in seconds. "No, that's impossible." Tom and Anna turned as one, their combined power a storm of silver-white light. "Break," they said together. The barrier shattered. Anna lunged for Giovanni, ripping him from the extraction circle, cradling his limp body. "Giovanni, baby, please." His eyes flickered open, barely conscious. "Mama, I've got you. I've got you." Tom stood between them and the council, his body massive, his rage still burning. "You tried to kill a child." Marok stumbled backward. "Alpha King, we can negotiate." "No." Tom's power detonated, but Seraphine was faster. She threw herself at the obsidian stone, the one holding 95% of the primal spark, and swallowed it whole. The chamber went silent. Seraphine's body began to glow. Not violet. Not silver. Black, corrupted power, stolen power, power her human soul was never meant to contain. She screamed as her body twisted, expanded, transformed into something that wasn't wolf, wasn't human, wasn't natural. When the transformation finished, a monster stood where Lady Seraphine had been. 10 feet tall, obsidian skin, eyes like voids, power radiating in sick waves. "Finally," the monster said in Seraphine's voice, distorted and wrong. "I am a god." She looked at Giovanni, still glowing faintly with the 5% of spark she hadn't stolen. "And I want the rest." Chapter 7. The corrupted Seraphine moved with impossible speed. One moment she stood across the chamber, The next, her obsidian claws were inches from Giovanni's throat. Anna threw up a silver shield. The claws shattered it like glass. Tom intercepted, his massive form slamming into Seraphine, driving her back. They crashed through a stone pillar, the impact shaking the entire peak. "Get him out!" Tom roared at Anna. But Giovanni was unconscious, his body too weak from the extraction, and Elder Marek was blocking the exit, his hands glowing with dark magic. "The boy stays," Marek hissed. "Lady Seraphine needs that final 5% to stabilize her transformation." Anna's eyes blazed silver. "Then you'll have to kill me first." She attacked. Anna had spent 5 years hiding her power, suppressing her oracle nature, pretending to be human. No more. She moved like moonlight given form, fluid, relentless, devastating. Her strikes shattered Marek's defenses, her power burning through his magic like acid. But she was still healing from her earlier wounds, still drained from the forced soul bond. When Marek's spell caught her across the ribs, she went down hard. "Pathetic," Marek sneered, standing over her. "You're just a broken oracle playing mother. You should have stayed hidden." Behind them, Tom and Seraphine were locked in brutal combat. Tom's berserker rage was fully unleashed, his attacks savage, uncontrolled. He was stronger, faster, but Seraphine had the primal spark. Every time Tom landed a killing blow, the stolen power healed her instantly. And worse, Tom's rage was growing. Anna could feel it through their new bond, a wildfire consuming his humanity second by second. His attacks were becoming less strategic, more animalistic. The beast was taking over. "Tom!" Anna screamed. "You have to pull back!" Tom didn't respond, couldn't respond. His eyes were completely white now, his shift monstrous and incomplete. He was more beast than man. Seraphine laughed, the sound echoing wrong. "The mighty Alpha King, reduced to a rabid animal. How fitting!" She drove her obsidian claws into Tom's chest. Tom roared, but didn't stop. The pain only fueled his rage. He grabbed Seraphine's arm and ripped it off. The corrupted spark grew it back in seconds. "You can't win," Seraphine taunted. "I am immortal. I am—" Tom's jaws closed around her throat. He bit down with enough force to shatter steel. Seraphine's head came off. The body hit the ground. For one heartbeat, Anna thought it was over. Then the headless body stood up. The obsidian flesh rippled, and a new head grew from the stump, Seraphine's face reforming with a grotesque smile. "Immortal," she finished. Tom attacked again, his movements pure instinct now, no thought behind them. He was losing himself completely. Anna felt it through the bond, the exact moment Tom Riley's human consciousness slipped away. The moment the beast took full control. Tom stopped attacking Seraphine. His white eyes scanned the room, seeing only threats, only prey. His gaze landed on Marek, on Giovanni, on Anna. "No," Anna breathed. "Tom, it's me." Tom lunged. Anna barely dodged, his claws missing her throat by inches. "Tom, stop! You know me!" But there was no recognition in those white eyes. Only hunger. Only violence. The Alpha King had become the monster he'd always feared. Seraphine laughed, delighted. "Perfect. The beast will kill his own mate. And I'll take the spark from the boy's corpse. The moon goddess herself couldn't have written this better." Tom charged Anna again. She threw up a shield. He shattered it. She tried to use their bond to reach him, but there was nothing human left to reach, just rage and teeth and claws. Anna's back hit the wall. Tom loomed over her, his jaws opening. "I'm sorry," Anna whispered. She drove her silver power directly into his chest, not to hurt, but to contain. Chains of moonlight wrapped around Tom's massive form, holding him in place. He roared, thrashing, the chains cracking under the force of his rage. They wouldn't hold long. Maybe seconds. Anna looked at Giovanni, still unconscious on the floor, looked at Seraphine, advancing with predatory confidence, looked at Tom, the man she'd bonded with, now a mindless beast. She couldn't fight Seraphine and contain Tom at the same time, couldn't protect Giovanni while holding back the Alpha King. She had one choice. Anna closed her eyes and reached deep, past the veil she'd maintained for 5 years, past the suppression spells, past the human disguise, to the core of what she truly was, the last oracle of the moon, not hiding, not diminished, complete. "Forgive me," she whispered to no one and everyone. And she shattered the veil. Power exploded from Anna's body like a supernova. Silver light so bright it turned night into day, so pure it made the corrupted spark in Seraphine's body scream in agony. Anna's form shifted. Her brown hair turned silver-white. Her eyes became twin moons. Ancient runes appeared on her skin, glowing with the light of 1,000 full moons. Her presence filled the chamber, vast and terrible and divine. "I am Lunara," she said, her voice resonating with the weight of centuries. "Last oracle of the moon goddess, keeper of the sacred balance." She looked at Seraphine, and the corrupted monster actually stepped back. "And you have defiled the primal spark." Anna, Lunara, raised her hand. Silver fire erupted from her palm, not heat, but pure lunar energy. It struck Seraphine's chest, and the corrupted spark inside her screamed. "No!" Seraphine shrieked. "I am a god! You are an abomination!" Lunara's power intensified. "And I am the only thing the moon goddess created to destroy you." The silver fire spread across Seraphine's obsidian skin, burning, purifying, destroying. The corrupted monster thrashed, her regeneration trying desperately to keep pace with the damage. But Lunara's power was older, stronger, pure. Behind her, Tom's chains shattered. The berserker roared, charging. Lunara turned, her free hand extending. Silver light wrapped around Tom's beast, and this time it didn't just contain, it penetrated. Her power drove into his soul, finding the man buried beneath the rage. "Come back," she commanded, her voice both fierce and gentle. "Tom Riley, Alpha King of the North. Come back to me." Tom's white eyes flickered. Silver. White. Silver. "I know you're in there," Lunara continued, her power pulling him back from the abyss. "I know you're afraid, but you don't have to be. I'm your anchor. I'm your conduit. I'm your—" Seraphine's claws pierced Lunara's back. The oracle gasped, silver blood spilling from her lips. Her concentration shattered. Her hold on both Tom and Seraphine broke. "Foolish," Seraphine hissed in her ear. "You can't fight us both." Tom's berserker rage surged again, his white eyes locking on Lunara's bleeding form. Seraphine grabbed Giovanni's unconscious body, her claws extending toward his chest. "I'll take the last of the spark now, and your precious king will kill you while you watch." Lunara's vision swam. Her power was fading. The wound in her back was deep, maybe mortal. Tom was advancing, his jaws opening. Seraphine's claws were descending toward Giovanni's heart. She couldn't save them both. She couldn't even save herself. But the moon goddess didn't create the oracle to survive. She created her to sacrifice. Lunara made her choice. She released every last drop of her power, not in defense, not in attack, but in transformation. Her silver energy exploded outward in a perfect sphere, and everything it touched changed. Tom's berserker form froze mid-lunge as lunar power flooded his system, forcibly purifying the rage, dragging his humanity back to the surface, whether he wanted it or not. Seraphine shrieked as the same power hit her, the silver light tearing at the corrupted spark, ripping it from her obsidian flesh piece by piece, and Giovanni, unconscious, dying, began to glow. Not violet. Silver. The purified remnants of the primal spark responding to the oracle's call, returning to where they belonged. Lunara collapsed, her body hitting the cold stone. Her power was gone. Completely. She'd burned everything, centuries of accumulated strength, the oracle's divine gift, her own life force, to save them. Through blurring vision, she saw Tom's white eyes fade to silver, his monstrous form shrinking, humanity returning to his face. Saw Seraphine's obsidian body cracking, crumbling, the stolen spark abandoning her like the corruption it was. Saw Giovanni's chest rise and fall, his small hand twitching, alive. She'd done it. She'd saved them. The cost was just everything. Anna. Tom's voice, human again, broken with horror. He crawled to her, his hands shaking as he gathered her into his arms. No, no, Anna, what did you do? Saved you, she whispered, her lips barely moving. You're dying! Tom's face was wet. Tears. The Alpha King was crying. The bond, I can feel you fading. Giovanni. Lunara forced the word out. Safe? Tom looked at the boy. Giovanni's eyes were opening, his violet glow returning to normal, the spark settling peacefully inside him. He's alive. He's okay. Good. Lunara smiled. Blood stained her teeth. Then, it was worth it. Don't you dare. Tom's voice cracked. Don't you dare leave me. We just bonded. We're supposed to. Love you, Lunara breathed. Both of you. Her eyes closed. Her heartbeat, which Tom could feel through their bond, stopped. Anna! Tom's roar shook the mountain. Giovanni screamed, crawling toward his mother's body. Even Seraphine, reduced to her human form, powerless and broken, stared in shock. The last oracle of the moon, the woman who had hidden for 5 years to protect a child, the mother who had sacrificed everything, was dead. But then, Giovanni's small hand touched his mother's chest. His primal spark, purified and whole, began to glow. Not violet. Silver, and Anna's heart beat once. Chapter 8. Anna's heart beat once, twice, then steady. Her eyes opened. Not brown, not silver, but something between. A perfect fusion of human and oracle, mortality and divinity. Mama! Giovanni threw himself onto her, his small arms wrapping around her neck, his tears soaking her shoulder. Tom cradled them both, his massive body shaking with relief. You died. I felt you die through the bond. Anna's hand found his face, her touch weak but real. Giovanni brought me back, the purified spark. She looked at her son, wonder in her eyes. It chose life over power. The boy's violet glow pulsed softly, no longer wild or dangerous, but gentle, controlled. I couldn't let you go, Mama. You always save me. I had to save you. Anna pulled him closer, her lips pressing against his hair. My brave, beautiful boy. Her voice cracked. I love you so much. Tom's forehead touched hers, his breath shuddering. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever. His words dissolved into a sound, somewhere between a growl and a sob. I won't, Anna promised, her fingers threading through his hair. I have too much to live for now. Behind them, Seraphine crawled across the floor, human and broken. Guards dragged her away, her screams fading into nothing. Elder Marek was hauled to the dungeons beside her, his protests meaningless. Tom didn't even look at them. His entire world had narrowed to the woman in his arms and the child between them. Let's go home, he whispered. The coronation happened 3 days later, under the full moon. The great hall overflowed with pack leaders, soldiers, and citizens from across the Northern Territories. Every window was thrown open to let the moonlight stream in. Anna stood before the throne in a gown of silver silk, her white hair braided with winter flowers, her moon-bright eyes steady despite her nerves. Giovanni stood beside her in his first formal clothing, his small hand gripping hers tightly. Tom faced her, the ancient crown of the Alpha King on his head, but his silver eyes were soft, vulnerable in a way no one had ever seen. The High Priestess, one of the few council members not involved in the conspiracy, raised her hands. "We gather under the winter moon to witness a bond forged in fire and blood, to crown a queen who gave everything to save her king and her son." The crowd was silent, reverent. "Lunara, last oracle of the moon," the priestess continued. "Do you accept the burden of the North? Will you stand as Lunar Queen, protector of the innocent, anchor to the Alpha King, mother to the primal spark?" Anna's voice rang clear. "I will. Tom Riley, Alpha King of the North, do you pledge your rage, your strength, your soul to this bond? Will you stand beside your queen as equals, partners in all things?" Tom's answer was immediate. "I will, now and always." The priestess lifted the lunar crown, silver wolves circling a crescent moon, forged in the first age of wolves. She placed it on Anna's head, and the entire hall felt it, a pulse of pure power, gentle but vast, spreading across the territory. The North recognized its queen. "Rise," the priestess said, smiling. "Rise, Lunar Queen of the North." Anna stood, and Tom took her hand. Together they turned to face their people. The hall erupted. Cheers, howls, the sound of 1,000 wolves celebrating. Giovanni laughed, his violet eyes sparkling with joy. Tom lifted the boy onto his shoulders, and the crowd cheered louder. The Alpha King, the Lunar Queen, and the Primal Spark, a family forged from impossible odds. The feast lasted until dawn. Music filled the halls, tables overflowed with food, and for the first time in a century, genuine joy echoed through the fortress. Anna danced with Tom, his massive hands gentle on her waist, their bond humming with contentment. "You're a terrible dancer," she teased. "I'm an Alpha King," Tom rumbled. "I don't need to dance well. I just need to hold you." Anna's laugh was light, free. "You're going to make me cry. You've cried enough." Tom's thumb brushed her cheek. "From now on, only happy tears." "Is that a royal decree?" "It is." His expression softened. "I spent a century forgetting how to feel. You reminded me. You and Giovanni, you gave me back my humanity." "And you gave us a home," Anna whispered. "A place where we don't have to hide, where Giovanni can grow up safe, loved, free." Their foreheads touched. "I love you, Anna. I love you, Tom Riley." They kissed, slow and deep, and the hall erupted in cheers again. Giovanni danced with the other children, his laughter ringing out, his glow gentle and joyful. No longer hunted, no longer afraid. Just a boy at a party, surrounded by friends. Anna watched him, her heart so full it ached. "He's happy. He's home," Tom corrected. "We all are." Later, when the celebrations quieted, and Giovanni had fallen asleep in his new room, decorated with toys and books and everything a child could want, Tom and Anna stood at the window of their chambers, overlooking the snow-covered north. "Do you ever miss it?" Tom asked. "Being hidden? Being free to go anywhere?" Anna leaned into him. "I was never free when I was hiding. I was always running, always afraid." She turned in his arms. "This, you, Giovanni, this family, this is freedom." Tom's arms tightened around her. "The council members who survived will be tried tomorrow. Seraphine and Marok will face justice for what they did. Good. Anna's voice was firm. What they tried to do to Giovanni, no child should ever face that. No child will, not while we rule. Tom's hand moved to her face. We'll build something better, a north where power isn't hoarded, where children aren't weapons, where... Anna kissed him, cutting off his words. When she pulled back, she was smiling. We'll build it together. Together, Tom agreed. They stood in comfortable silence. The bond between them warm and steady. No longer the violent crash of two desperate souls, but the gentle connection of partners who had chosen each other despite everything. Thank you, Tom said quietly. For what? For grabbing my cloak in that blizzard. He smiled. Well, for letting your son grab it. Anna laughed, the sound pure and joyful. He has good instincts. He has a good mother. And now he has a good father, too. Tom's eyes glistened. I won't let you down. Either of you. I know. Anna's hand rested over his heart. I can feel it. Through the bond, through everything, I know. In Giovanni's room, the boy stirred in his sleep. His dreams were peaceful, images of his mother smiling, of Tom teaching him to shift properly, of running through snow without fear. The primal spark in his chest glowed softly, content. No longer a burden or a curse, but a gift he would grow into when the time was right. For now he was just a boy, loved, protected, home. The next morning, Anna woke wrapped in Tom's arms, sunlight streaming through the windows. For a moment, she just breathed, savoring the peace. Good morning, my queen, Tom murmured against her hair. Good morning, my king. A knock on the door. Giovanni's voice, bright and cheerful. Mama, Papa, can I come in? Anna's heart swelled at the word. Papa. Tom's entire face transformed, softening in a way she'd never seen. Come in, little spark, Tom called. The door burst open, and Giovanni launched himself onto the bed, wiggling between them. The cook made pancakes, with honey. Can we eat together? As a family? Anna pulled him close, breathing in his little boy scent. Always, baby. Always as a family. Tom's arm came around both of them, completing the circle. Always, he echoed. They stayed like that for a long moment. The Alpha King, the Lunar Queen, and the Primal Spark. No longer broken pieces, but a whole family bound by love stronger than any magic. Outside, the north stretched vast and beautiful, their kingdom to protect and nurture. Inside, they had everything that mattered. Later, they would face trials. They would rebuild the council with wolves they could trust. They would strengthen the borders and create new laws to protect children like Giovanni. But right now, in this perfect morning, they were just a family. And that was enough. More than enough. It was everything. The end. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey with Anna, Tom, and Giovanni. If you enjoyed this story of love, sacrifice, and family forged in the frozen north, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel for more werewolf romance stories. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring you more epic tales of Alpha Kings, powerful heroines, and the bonds that make them unstoppable. What did you think of Anna and Tom's story? Drop a comment below and let us know your favorite moment.